Abusuafo, yes, amanebone echemu echese Ken Ofori Atta, yes, after say I see and I say say ice for answer a so no se see no extradition process no atumi adimu, yes, extradition process no atumi adimu Ken Ofori Atta abusua betumi afesi eye deportation. Abusua we dey ma meka say mapese ekonekoti nsam no maka sanchire mu, yes, yenti nkoma a course emra sisi ha edo so aye be media jeje abusua mese wase enane dey konetwa channel so a Pomadi aso be subscribe like na abusua so wa bo aso a share ma for person be atie no anya bi atie ma refresh abusua bo notification bell no so for more podcast update yenti nkoma a course emra sisi ha yedase
na lawyer Martin Kpegbu ni nyina no say yenim say Ken Ofori Atta ye attorney general say formally or the extradition akwa akoma US attorney general. Na fast forward no me pese ye betie baby also the extradition document akoma US authorities intino fast forward enko tisa video ni mere beto so
breaking investigation and recovery of proceeds of crime by the Economic and Organized Crime Office. But before I proceed to provide the details of the investigation and its outcomes, I wish to take a moment to announce that I have formally transmitted the request for the extradition of former Finance Minister Ken Ofori Atta and his chef de cabinet, Mr. Ernest Dako Akori. You will recall that the Office of the Special Prosecutor investigated acts of corruption and corruption-related offenses by the former Finance Minister and his accomplices, and proceeded to file charges in the High Court of Justice against them. On November 19th, 2025, that is this year, my office received a formal request from the Office of the Special Prosecutor to initiate extradition proceedings for Kenneth Ofori Atta and Ernest Dako Akori from the United States of America. Following a preliminary review, our International Cooperation Unit observed that certain aspects of the request require clarification and enhancements to align with the applicable legal and procedural requirements. We communicated these observations to the Office of the Special Prosecutor via a letter dated 25th November 2025 and requested supplementary documentation to ensure completeness. On December 9th, 2025, the Office of the Special Prosecutor provided a requested additional documentation and addressed the observations that we raised, thereby finalizing the extradition request packages. Subsequently, on December 10th, 2025, my office transmitted the complete request to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for onward transmission to the competent authorities in the United States of America. That is, in this case, the Department of Justice of the United States. At this point, it is left to the American authorities, especially the judicial authorities, to make a determination on whether a sufficient basis exists for the two accused persons to be extradited to Ghana to stand trial. And because the matters have already been filed, and because they have been filed by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, I am not permitted to go into the details of the charges. But the charge sheet is a public document and has been made available. And all of you, I'm sure, have access to it. There are 78 charges against Honorable Ken Ofori Atta and his accomplices, and they
on proceeding fast forward and after video na yakuti no nyina say Martin Kpegbu or a legal practitioner ba Martin Kpegbu ene OSP and one sensem ni nyina in connection to Ken Ofori Atta, the former finance minister. Na abusu ni nyina ne say wo say Ken Ofori Atta wo ICE detention. Secondly, yenim say extradition process so da ho ayesi be extradite Ken Ofori Atta na Ghana because or a standard trial to face. And fast forward in what chairman and Attorney General and making sure say or best send the document to what to make the document available to the detention sector. No more say no. The guy right from there no you better transfer it to face the FBI authorities to make sure say ɔbɛfesi ne extradition process no na wayɛ den ɔmo de naba ɛyɛ Ghana nti abusua nti lawyer Martin Kpegbu ɛkyerɛ mu a ɔmo make sure sɛ Ken Ofori Atta ɔbɛyɛ den ɔbɛkɔ akwa nti nkɔmmɔ no nyinaa ne sɛ Ken Ofori Atta the next update a ɔrese ɔmo ma ne ɔbɛtumi ɔbɛfesi what extradition process nti from the releasing from FBI, sorry, ICE detention facility. Omo handing over to the FBI to face the extradition process to make things easier for him to come to Ghana. No, the Attorney General should push forward. In Tinkoti, Yadikankuti, Abra Attorney General, a castle the extradition call. Inkoti, lawyer about Timpegu.
In the extradition and to look a bit further into Ken Ofori Atta's status, reason why he is here right now?
Okay. Yeah, all right. So on the matter of how easy would this arrest make the extradition, what I can say straight up, I mean, cut to the chase, we cannot readily say that this arrest by itself makes the extradition process easy. No, remember the two are separate. Currently, he's been arrested by ICE because of a visa violation. Okay, that's his stay in America, right? And the extradition request is a separate request from the government of Ghana that he should come down to. He should be brought back to Ghana to face criminal charges, right, in the SML matter. So now that ICE is dealing with him, I made a point that where it could be a bit easy is the point of arrest. So now this is the point. Now that he's in the custody of ICE, he's fighting, including possibly going to court. So if ICE doesn't release him early and he has to go to court fighting ICE for his release, it is possible that the extradition request would travel to the point where he needs to be arrested. And if at the point that he needs to be arrested, he's in the custody of ICE, then it makes it easy. Because it's in the custody of ICE, I'm sure in American law, they would have processes in place to show that even where he's done with ICE, he cannot be released, but then he has to be transferred to the FBI, etc., for them to continue with the extradition proceedings. One of the key preliminary steps will be to arrest Ofori Atta. So whilst he's battling ICE in court, if the extradition people finish early, that's get to the stage where they need to arrest him, and he's done with ICE and they're about to release, then the FBI and the justice can take him. You see, so it's not bad. It's not bad, at least for now. It's not bad. Let's just hope that our extradition request makes significant progress quickly.
Abusua TV3 say we enfa credit momo omo we so omo sa Ken Ofori Atta kra na yesi ne visa no a ye de ache na ICE detention no enyan wu ebe wo February na yesas osa wo valid visas be a one passport ma ebi be wu 2032 2031 eno no ye de wo hin ye chirima manase chirima ebi ye Canada and UK yenkoti manase so brief ye we a be a detention facility of Ken Ofori Atta no ye be kwa akwa omo be discussing nyina
next month, Valentine's Day. Is this consistent with the information that you have?
Yes, I think I first gave this information on your show last year, and it is consistent that next month the US visa will expire.
Now, what more do we know about the other visas that Ken Ofori Atta has and the options and which countries he still has valid visas to travel to?
Yes, he has valid visas to the United Kingdom and also to Canada. And then the UK visa will expire in 2032. The exact date is April 21st, 2032. That is when Ken Ofori Atta's visa to the United Kingdom will expire. And then his Canadian visa will also expire in
2031 May, that's May 31st, 2031, his Canadian visa will expire. So these are the two foreign visas that are active on his passport now.
I see. When I say stay with me, and Martin Pebble is private legal practitioner, and he's also joining us on Zoom. Counsel, you've been on the heels of the Office of Special Prosecutor for allowing, quote-unquote, Ken Ofori Atta to leave the jurisdiction, and that's one of the reasons why you are asking that the Special Prosecutor be sacked. Well, this is the development, okay? The Ken Ofori Atta has been detained, and you've heard his lawyers. We have applied extradition to Ghana. That's the Attorney General through the Foreign Affairs Ministry. Does this detention in any way make that process of extradition easier? And as we're seeing it right now, how does that also impact on the extradition process? Does it have any correlation, any nexus with what is happening now? The U.S. authorities take interest. A conversation on this, but the latest from his lawyers. That's the lawyers, one of the lawyers for Ken Ofori Atta, that is lawyer Frank Davis, has been speaking, is explaining the circumstances that led to his detention in the United States and how they hope to secure his release. We'll hear from him shortly. Earlier when he spoke to Joy News, we'll recall that in a bit. But then again, let's show you pictures of what we do know about this detention center. This is the Caroline Detention Center in Virginia, in the United States, and this is how the detention center looks like in terms of the sitting area, and then also where the detainees are kept. We'll give you an idea of how the rooms also look like. This is it. This is the Caroline Detention Center. Shortly, we'll show you a Google Earth image of the location of this particular detention center that we're talking about. And I tell you what, that has also generated conversation about what this detention center really is and the history behind that. Here's what we do know. This is it. This is where this detention center is located, the Caroline Detention Center in Virginia in the United States, right? We'll put that on the screen right now. And this is it. This is where Ken Ofori Atta is being kept right now. Okay, when we zoom in closer, this is the facility that we're talking about here. Okay. This is it. This area. This is the location as we have it. And it is this particular facility which ICE is using as a detention center for persons who are either going through a process of seeking asylum in the United States of America, and also, as we did see in the letter by Ken Ofori Atta's lawyers, persons who have overstayed their welcome, essentially in the United States. It's a commitment by the United States government to ensure, at least after Donald Trump took over a couple of years ago, to ensure that, look, the persons who are staying in the United States illegally are made to face the full rigors of the law. So this is the facility in question right now. This is where the interests of all Ghanaians who have been asking questions about the whereabouts of Ken Ofori Atta and whether or not he's going to come to Ghana after this detention. Well, this is it. You should pay attention to this particular area. We'll tell you a bit more about this location as we go on here on Ghana Tonight. But Frank Davis is one of the lawyers for Ken Ofori Atta. That's a former finance minister. He's been speaking to Joy News, giving some details about exactly how all of this played out when he was picked up and how he's doing as we speak. Take a look.
There is nothing to be of any significant concern to the legal team, because what has occasioned is detention, so to speak, is a purely immigration matter, which is common and routine. Indeed, for whatever reason, if your visa stay or period is about to lapse and you have reasonable belief that you will have to remain in the jurisdiction of the country for an extended period, you are allowed, as it were, put in a petition for your immigration status to be determined. So it is customary with the U.S. immigration procedures and practices and processes. So it is nothing new. It is nothing new. So yes, the petition has been lodged with the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which is popularly known as the ICE, and they are reviewing the petition. In fact, the counterpart legal team, our counterpart legal team in the United States,
right,
the team that our Attorney General and leader of the bar has described as a very experienced and cracked legal team, is working on the petition. And in the fullness of time, a determination will be made one way or the other, based solely on the merits of the petition. So there is nothing to be worried. I will not speculate and speak on that. That is not the reason why you called me. So let us focus on why you called. I'm not able to speak to that proposition that he has filed for an extended or permanent residency in the United States. The whichever environment you find yourself, you learn to adapt a medical procedure. So that was why his visa, strictly speaking, his visa is supposed to lapse or determine on the 14th of February, St. Valentine's Day. But because he is still attending on to his medical procedure on the recuperative stage, he thought it wise to extend his stay so that he can still receive the best of medical treatment where he is. So yes, he could have opted for that option, but he didn't think it was necessary at the time, and it is not necessary now. The petition will be determined, and we will all know the outcome. The mere fact that he is in a detention facility will not absolve him of whatever medical treatment he's supposed to give. I mean, we all know the Americans and the developed democracies of this world. We see it in the films of it. They are given the very best of treatment. The movies are there for evaluate. They are given the very best of treatment. So it has nothing to do with whether he will run a shortage of medical treatment or medical attention. Whatever is supposed to be done for him to stay strong and healthy will be done. I believe in that. Whatever the government has to do in the enabling circumstances, I believe that as this matter is unfolding, I mean, they'll come out with their own state. But for now, whatever we say is limited to. But the circumstances for one to be put in a detention center are separate, distinct, and essentially different from whatever faces a particular individual.
Well, so that's Frank Davis. He's one of the lawyers for the former Finance Minister, Ken Ofori Atta, and they did indicate a number of things. Touching on the petition that Ken Ofori Atta has actually put in place specifically about his status in the United States, which is the reason why he's actually being held in this detention center in the first place. You hear Frank Davis describe this detention center as not the very best of places with the very best of conditions. Okay, this is what we know of the outside or the outskirts of this particular detention center. We showed you pictures of how it looks like inside. Okay, but then again, it doesn't take away the fact that obviously this would not be a pleasant place to be as compared to here being at home. Okay, but this is it. This is how, at least we do know from the eyes and the lenses of Google Earth, this Caroline detention facility. This is where it is in Virginia. This is how it looks like, and also a specific issue about where it is located, a very, very secure facility, as a matter of fact. And here's what we do know about this facility in terms of its history. I'm going to tell you about it. This is it. This Caroline detention facility is a 336-bed correctional facility located near Bowling Green, that's in Virginia, adjacent to Route 301. The facility is 6 miles north of the main entrance to Fort A.P. Hill. surrounded by army base. That's what you see, and that's what I was talking about, that this is in a secured facility, and it's in a very secured area. So where the former finance minister has been detained now, from what we do know about this particular facility, that is the Caroline Detention Facility, is surrounded by the army base. It's not part of the installation of the army, but actually surrounded by the army base, and opened in September 1999, and also features a campus-style layout, and that's what we're going to put the pictures on the screen right now. I'll tell you why this has just been described as a campus layout sort of detention facility designed to operate as a fourth-generation direct supervision facility, and then also low custody inmates from 6 jurisdictions and the Virginia Department of Corrections were housed at the facility until March 2017. Currently, through a contract with the Department of Homeland Security, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, that's ICE, this Caroline Detention Facility houses federal detainees who are undergoing the administrative process of either asylum in the United States or removal from the country. So take note of this. The detainees who are in this facility are undergoing the administrative process of either asylum in the United States or removal from the country. This is what this facility, Caroline Detention Facility, is indeed meant for and is doing essentially. Now, let's go on to Zoom right now and find out a number of things as to how this development impacts on the extradition request of Ghana, and then what more we do know about the other